Overnight, the 2024 Republican nominees front row again, taking in day 2 of the convention, with former President Trump arriving earlier than expected, according to a source familiar with his plans, so he could listen to the speeches from his former primary rivals, from former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley.
I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
To Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
Their presence, a signal that even those bitterly opposed to a Trump presidency just months ago,
he is unhinged. He is more diminished than he was.
And whom the former president mocked.
You know who Bird Brain is, right, Nikki? Ron has always been a loser.
Are now bending the knee and making the case on his behalf.
You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. Take it from me. I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree.
Let's send Joe Biden back to his basement, and let's send Donald Trump back to the White House.
The GOP message, a united front.
Is this Donald Trump's party now?
Absolutely. He is the president. He's going to be reelected as the president again.
Looming over the convention, Saturday's attempted assassination of the former president. Mr. Trump's daughter-in-law, RNC co-chair Laura Trump, hailing his response seconds after being wounded by the gunman.
In the midst of it all, as he was jostled off stage by Secret Service, that he knew how defining that moment would be for our country, and he hoisted his fist in the air.
As allies look to win over skeptical and undecided voters.
We know that in our nation, a lot of people have already made up their minds, so we've got to get out there and do the work and tell the story.
But on a night meant to highlight crime and immigration, plenty of fiery rhetoric aimed squarely at the conservative base.
Joe Biden thinks borders are racist.
And few mentions of Mr. Trump's criminal conviction in the hush money trial or January 6th. Tonight, all eyes on Mr. Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and the highest profile moment of his young political career so far. Also this morning, we are learning new details about 2 security incidents not far from the convention center here in Milwaukee. Police say in one of them, officers shot and killed a man who was involved in an altercation armed with knives after he refused to drop his weapon and charged another person. And overnight, Milwaukee police announced they arrested a 21-year-old Monday for carrying a concealed weapon in his backpack. They say he was spotted wearing a ski mask, Savannah, and looking suspicious.
Security always hovering over at a big event like this, especially in light of what happened over the weekend. So we were talking about how last night was to show unity within the Republican Party, but also to reach out to independents, those Haley voters who were either independent or in some case soft Democrats. So what do the polls show right now? Who's really up for grabs when you have a country that's this polarized?
It's really competitive here. Our latest national polling on independents, Savannah, shows that it is President Biden who has the edge on that front. But about 30% of independents say they're still undecided, that they're not really into either candidate at this moment. So that is why you are seeing former President Trump, his campaign, really try to make the case here. But as you know, as we are going to talk about a lot over the course of the next 100+ days, this race will not be won or lost nationally. It'll happen in battleground states. And there it is former President Trump who currently has, based on polling, a slight edge, a competitive race, and a lot of eyes on this, obviously, from now to November.
Well, tonight is J.D. Vance's biggest moment in the political spotlight. He's 39 years old, at least for a few more weeks. He's a senator, but only for about 18 months, and he's going to give the vice presidential nominating speech tonight.
That's right. A source familiar with those remarks is telling me this morning, expect it to focus on his biography, on his upbringing, what the campaign sees as a compelling story and one that he laid out in his best-selling book, Hillbilly Elegy, and linking his upbringing to some of the critical issues in this campaign that Donald Trump talks about a lot: trade, inflation, immigration, etc. It's not surprising that it would be a heavily biographical speech as opposed to a political one, Savannah, just given that this is J.D. Vance's biggest political moment. He's going to be on the national stage for really the first time in his political career to this degree. And overall, the theme tonight, focusing on foreign policy, the theme, make America safe again. And it's interesting, as much as we've been talking about GOP unity and the united front that the party wants to present, on foreign policy, there are some divisions here, especially when it comes to, for example, funding for Ukraine.
Yeah, something J.D. Vance has been very out front about, not wanting to support Ukraine necessarily. Thank you very much, Hallie.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.